Businesswoman Monica Williams wasn't just seeking accommodation that night at the Marriott Airport Hotel in Atlanta. But when front desk staff questioned her reservation eligibility, their ownership meeting the next morning would become the most shocking moment in hospitality history. Businesswoman Monica Williams approached the elegant front desk of the Marriott Airport Hotel at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with the confident stride of someone who had spent 21 years building one of the most successful hospitality empires in the southeastern United States, transforming a single bed and breakfast investment into Williams Hospitality Group, a premium hotel management company that owned and operated over 40 luxury properties, with annual revenues exceeding $500 million. At 49 years old, she carried herself with the entrepreneurial authority that comes from earning an MBA in hospitality management from Cornell University's prestigious hotel school and developing expertise that had qualified her to serve as CEO and majority owner of one of the fastest-growing hospitality companies in America. Her credentials included membership in the American Hotel and Lodging Association's Executive Committee, establishing her as one of the leading authorities on luxury hospitality management in the Southeast, with direct ownership of properties including several Marriott-branded hotels that made her one of Marriott Corporation's largest independent franchise partners. Tonight's unexpected overnight stay was the result of her delayed private jet flight to New Orleans, where she was scheduled to oversee the grand opening of her newest luxury property acquisition. Though she was traveling in casual business attire, without the executive entourage that typically accompanied her corporate travels. Her understated black business suit reflected her preference for maintaining operational anonymity when conducting surprise property evaluations, allowing her to experience hotel services from a guest perspective. Front desk manager Sarah Chen, a mid-level hotel employee with 3 years of hospitality experience who had developed assumptions about guest demographics based on superficial observations, observed Monica's approach without recognizing the hospitality expertise and business authority that characterized someone who regularly made decisions affecting hotel operations throughout her extensive property portfolio. Chen's limited understanding of hospitality business ownership and tendency to make judgments based on appearance led her to categorize Monica as a potentially problematic guest. As Monica presented her confirmed reservation and premium loyalty status clearly indicated in the Marriott system, Manager Chen immediately demonstrated discriminatory service patterns that had become problematic despite comprehensive diversity training and corporate policies prohibiting such treatment based on demographic characteristics. "I'm sorry, but I need to verify that this premium suite reservation actually belongs to you," Chen stated with obvious skepticism while examining Monica's identification with unnecessary scrutiny. "Our executive suites require additional verification and payment authorization." Monica immediately recognized the discriminatory approach and clear violation of Marriott hospitality standards that she had personally helped establish through her extensive franchise partnership, understanding that such treatment represented exactly the type of service failures that could result in significant corporate brand damage. "I have my confirmation number, identification, and credit card used for the reservation," Monica replied professionally, while observing the systematic discriminatory treatment. "What specific Marriott policy requires additional verification beyond standard identification and reservation confirmation?" Chen continued her discriminatory approach with additional verification requirements that clearly exceeded standard hotel procedures and demonstrated the type of profiling that Monica had worked extensively to eliminate through comprehensive hospitality training. "Ma'am, I need to contact my supervisor for verification because it doesn't appear consistent with our typical guest profile," Chen explained with obvious bias that violated Marriott service standards. "Executive suite guests typically have different presentations that require verification procedures." Monica observed Chen's escalating discriminatory behavior with growing business concern, understanding that the situation constituted exactly the type of hospitality problems that could result in corporate complaints and reputation damage. "Manager Chen," she said while reading the employee's name tag, "I believe your verification procedures violate Marriott service standards. I'm requesting immediate supervisor intervention and documentation of this discriminatory treatment for corporate review." Her hospitality knowledge should have immediately alerted any trained hotel employee that they were dealing with someone possessing advanced hospitality expertise. As Chen's discriminatory treatment continued with additional verification requirements that clearly violated Marriott service standards, Monica persisted in her business assertions while requesting appropriate management intervention to address the systematic discriminatory practices. "I am formally documenting this discriminatory treatment and requesting immediate management review of these service standard violations," Monica stated with business authority that should have established her familiarity with hotel operations and corporate hospitality requirements. "Your verification procedures exceed standard Marriott policies and constitute discriminatory treatment based on profiling that violates corporate service standards and could result in significant brand reputation damage." Chen responded to Monica's business assertions with increased resistance, apparently interpreting her knowledge of hospitality standards as inappropriate guest behavior rather than recognizing the obvious business expertise. "Ma'am, I don't appreciate guests trying to lecture me about hotel policies," Chen replied with obvious hostility that demonstrated her complete lack of understanding about guest service excellence. "I'm following appropriate verification procedures, and threatening corporate complaints doesn't change our security requirements." Other guests in the hotel lobby began witnessing the developing discrimination as Monica's obviously legitimate executive suite reservation was subjected to excessive verification requirements that clearly demonstrated profiling and bias. Among the observing guests were several business travelers and hospitality professionals who recognized the discriminatory nature of Chen's verification procedures and began expressing concern about the obvious service standard violations they were witnessing. Hotel supervisor Michael Rodriguez, who had been monitoring the situation from the front desk area and was becoming increasingly concerned about the discriminatory treatment and potential corporate implications, finally approached the front desk with growing awareness of the service standard violations occurring. "Manager Chen, what is the specific reason for these additional verification procedures?" Rodriguez asked with supervisory authority. "Our standard Marriott policies require only identification and reservation confirmation for executive suite check-in." Chen attempted to justify her discriminatory treatment with explanations that revealed the systematic nature of her profiling. Supervisor Rodriguez immediately recognized the discriminatory nature of Chen's verification procedures and the clear violation of Marriott service standards that prohibited such treatment based on demographic characteristics, understanding that the situation could result in corporate complaints and brand reputation damage. "Manager Chen, these verification procedures clearly exceed our standard Marriott policies and constitute discriminatory guest treatment," Rodriguez stated with supervisory authority. "Executive suite guests require only standard identification and reservation confirmation. Process this guest's check-in according to established corporate service standards." Monica observed the intervention with professional satisfaction while continuing to document the discriminatory treatment for potential corporate review. "Supervisor Rodriguez, I appreciate your intervention, but this discriminatory treatment represents systematic service standard violations that require comprehensive documentation and corporate review," Monica explained with business authority. "I will be pursuing formal corporate complaints and franchise evaluation to ensure that such discriminatory practices are eliminated from Marriott operations. Rodriguez attempted to address the situation through immediate service recovery, while growing concerned about the corporate implications that his employees' discriminatory conduct had created. "Ma'am, I sincerely apologize for the inappropriate verification procedures and discriminatory treatment that you have experienced," Rodriguez said with obvious concern about corporate consequences. "We will immediately process your executive suite check-in and ensure that corrective measures are implemented." More guests continued to witness the discrimination while expressing concern about the systematic nature of the discriminatory treatment and the hotel's apparent failure to properly train employees. Business traveler James Patterson, a hotel industry consultant who had been observing the situation, approached the front desk to provide hospitality expertise. "I'm a hospitality consultant specializing in hotel operations," Patterson announced with professional authority. "I've witnessed systematic discriminatory treatment that clearly violates Marriott service standards, and I'm prepared to provide professional testimony regarding these service failures." His hospitality intervention created additional pressure for immediate service recovery while documenting the systematic discrimination. As the discriminatory treatment situation continued with multiple witnesses and clear documentation of service standard violations, Monica maintained her business focus while preparing for the formal complaints necessary to address the systematic discrimination and ensure appropriate corporate accountability. "I am documenting these service standard violations for formal complaint, filing with Marriott Corporate and Williams Hospitality Group evaluation protocols," Monica announced with business authority that demonstrated her comprehensive understanding of hospitality industry operations. "This discriminatory treatment represents systematic service failures that require immediate corrective action and comprehensive employee training to ensure compliance with Marriott service standards." Rodriguez recognized the serious corporate implications, understanding that formal complaints could result in significant franchise penalties and reputation damage if not properly addressed. "We are committed to addressing these service standard violations through immediate corrective action and comprehensive review of our guest services procedures," Rodriguez stated with growing corporate awareness. "Please allow us to provide appropriate service recovery and ensure that your hotel experience meets the high Marriott standards." Monica continued her business documentation while observing the corporate response being implemented. "While I appreciate the immediate service recovery efforts, this situation requires comprehensive corporate review and systematic service standard enforcement to ensure that discriminatory practices are eliminated," Monica explained. "The systematic nature indicates institutional problems that require executive-level intervention and comprehensive franchise compliance reform." Consultant Patterson continued his hospitality documentation while supporting Monica's corporate assertions and preparing for the franchise complaints that would inevitably result from such clear service standard violations. "This discriminatory treatment represents a clear pattern requiring immediate corporate accountability and comprehensive hospitality training reform," Patterson announced. Hotel General Manager Lisa Thompson, who had been monitoring the situation from the executive office, finally approached the front desk with executive authority. General Manager Thompson immediately recognized the magnitude of service standard violations and corporate liability that had been created through systematic discriminatory treatment, understanding that the situation required immediate executive intervention and comprehensive damage control. "I am Lisa Thompson, General Manager of this Marriott Airport Hotel," she announced with executive authority. "I have been monitoring this situation and recognize the serious service standard violations that have occurred, and I am implementing immediate corrective measures." Monica observed the executive intervention with professional interest while continuing her business documentation and assessment of the corporate response to systematic discrimination. Understanding that appropriate accountability required comprehensive reform and executive-level commitment to hospitality excellence. General Manager Thompson. This discriminatory treatment represents systematic failures in employee training that require comprehensive corporate accountability, Monica stated with business authority. I am preparing formal complaints with Marriott Corporate and Franchise Operations Review to ensure that such discrimination is eliminated through appropriate corrective measures. Thompson recognized the serious corporate implications that formal complaints would create for the hotel property, understanding that immediate corrective action and comprehensive service standard enforcement were essential to prevent significant franchise penalties. This Marriott property is committed to eliminating discriminatory practices and ensuring equal treatment for all guests, Thompson replied with executive authority. We will conduct immediate investigation and implement comprehensive training to prevent similar violations and ensure compliance with Marriott franchise requirements. Monica prepared to continue her documentation while accepting the immediate service recovery measures being implemented. While I appreciate the executive intervention and commitment to reform, this situation will require ongoing corporate oversight and franchise compliance monitoring to ensure effective elimination of discriminatory practices, Monica explained. I will be pursuing formal channels for accountability and systematic reform. As the situation continued with executive intervention and corporate accountability measures being implemented to address the systematic discrimination, Monica began revealing the depth of her hospitality expertise and familiarity with Marriott operations that would soon transform everyone's understanding of her business authority and corporate position within the hospitality industry. General Manager Thompson, I want to ensure that you understand the comprehensive corporate implications of this discriminatory treatment, Monica stated with obvious business authority that demonstrated advanced knowledge of hospitality operations and franchise requirements. These service standard violations represent systematic failures in employee training that I have personally worked to prevent through comprehensive hospitality programs and franchise partnerships. Thompson observed Monica's detailed knowledge of hotel operations with growing professional interest and awareness that she was dealing with someone whose business expertise exceeded typical guest knowledge. Ma'am, your knowledge of our operations and corporate requirements is quite comprehensive, Thompson replied with executive recognition and growing respect for Monica's professional expertise. Are you perhaps a hospitality consultant or hotel industry professional who has experience with Marriott operations? Monica smiled with business satisfaction while preparing to reveal the corporate authority and ownership position that would completely transform the situation. General Manager Thompson, I appreciate your recognition of my hospitality expertise, Monica replied with growing authority. I believe this situation provides an excellent opportunity for comprehensive service standard review and employee training that will benefit hotel operations. Manager Chen, who had been observing the executive intervention with growing awareness of her service failures, finally began to understand the serious consequences of her treatment of a guest who clearly possessed exceptional hospitality knowledge. I'm beginning to realize that I may have made serious mistakes in my guest services procedures, Chen said, with obvious concern. Monica maintained her professional composure while preparing for the revelation that would demonstrate the true scope of the service failures. As General Manager Thompson continued to address the discrimination while implementing corporate accountability measures, Monica began to reveal her actual position within the hospitality industry and the business authority that made her one of the most influential hotel owners and franchise partners within the Marriott system. General Manager Thompson, I think it's important for you to understand that my interest in this situation extends beyond personal guest services violations, Monica explained with increasing corporate authority. I have comprehensive responsibility for hospitality operations and franchise compliance that makes this discriminatory treatment particularly concerning from an industry perspective. Thompson observed Monica's corporate language and industry knowledge with growing professional recognition that she was dealing with someone whose authority went far beyond typical hospitality knowledge, suggesting significant business connection to hotel operations. Ma'am, your corporate perspective suggests that you may have professional experience with hotel operations and franchise management, Thompson replied with executive interest and growing awareness of Monica's potential corporate connection. Are you perhaps a hotel owner or franchise partner who has worked with Marriott? Monica prepared to reveal her actual ownership position that would completely transform everyone's understanding of the situation and demonstrate the magnitude of institutional failures that had allowed such discriminatory treatment to occur within her own franchise relationship. General Manager Thompson, I appreciate your professional recognition, Monica said, with growing corporate authority. I believe this situation demonstrates the importance of comprehensive employee training that ensures appropriate treatment of all guests and compliance with Marriott franchise requirements. Manager Chen watched the developing corporate discussion with increasing anxiety and awareness that her discriminatory treatment had been witnessed by someone with significant business expertise within the hospitality industry. I'm becoming very concerned about the consequences of my actions and the service standard violations that have occurred, Chen said, with obvious worry. The moment Monica revealed her actual identity as CEO and majority owner of Williams Hospitality Group, one of Marriott's largest independent franchise partners in the southeastern United States, the extraordinary scope of her business authority and hospitality industry influence became undeniably apparent to everyone involved as they recognized that the discriminatory treatment had been directed against one of the most powerful hotel owners within the Marriott corporate system. General Manager Thompson, Manager Chen, and everyone present, Monica announced with full corporate authority, I am Monica Williams, CEO and majority owner of Williams Hospitality Group, which operates over 40 luxury hotel properties throughout the Southeast, including several Marriott-branded hotels under franchise agreements that make me one of Marriott Corporation's largest independent franchise partners. The revelation created immediate shock and institutional recognition among all hotel employees who understood that they had been subjecting one of the most influential hotel owners and franchise partners to discriminatory treatment and service standard violations that she had personally worked to prevent through comprehensive hospitality excellence programs. General Manager Thompson stood frozen with complete professional devastation as she realized that the discriminatory treatment had been witnessed by one of Marriott's most important franchise partners, who possessed significant influence within the corporate system and hospitality industry. Ms. Williams, I am profoundly embarrassed about the institutional failures and discriminatory treatment that you have experienced at our Marriott property, Thompson said, with executive remorse. This situation represents exactly the type of service standard violations that your franchise partnership has worked to eliminate through comprehensive hospitality excellence and employee training programs. Manager Chen realized with complete professional horror that her discriminatory conduct had been directed against one of the most powerful hotel owners in the Marriott system. Understanding that her actions represented career-ending violations of the service standards that Monica's business empire had helped establish throughout the hotel industry. Ms. Williams, I cannot express how sorry I am for my discriminatory treatment and complete failure to provide the Marriott service excellence that your franchise partnership has established, Chen said with obvious fear. I understand the serious consequences of my actions and the violation of everything that Marriott hospitality represents regarding equal treatment and guest services excellence. Monica maintained her executive composure while addressing the systematic institutional problems that the incident had revealed within hotel operations and franchise compliance throughout the hospitality industry. This situation demonstrates that despite comprehensive franchise partnerships and hospitality excellence programs, we still have systematic problems with service standard implementation that require immediate attention and comprehensive reform, she explained with corporate authority. This is why truth always comes to light, and justice always finds its way. If this story shows you that dignity and respect matter more than assumptions, make sure you subscribe to see more stories where justice prevails. Because when we stand together against discrimination, we make real change happen. Following the extraordinary revelation and demonstration of how discriminatory practices could occur even within companies that had comprehensive service standards and corporate partnerships with major hospitality brands, the Marriott Airport Hotel immediately initiated sweeping reforms to employee training programs, guest services protocols, and discrimination prevention measures that would ensure systematic elimination of discriminatory practices throughout the property and franchise system. Manager Chen was immediately suspended, pending investigation, and faced potential termination for her discriminatory conduct and violation of Marriott service standards that Monica's franchise partnership had specifically designed to ensure hospitality excellence, while all front desk personnel were required to complete enhanced diversity training that emphasized zero tolerance for discriminatory practices. The incident became a catalyst for hospitality industry discussions about institutional discrimination and the importance of comprehensive service standard enforcement that extended beyond training programs to include systematic monitoring and accountability measures that would ensure actual compliance with guest services excellence throughout hotel operations. Monica's response to the discrimination became a model for effective corporate hospitality oversight and franchise accountability as her comprehensive reform program was incorporated into Williams Hospitality Group training systems and inspired other hotel owners to strengthen their service standard compliance throughout the hospitality industry. Within weeks of the incident, the Marriott Airport Hotel had implemented new monitoring systems and accountability measures that would prevent similar discrimination and ensure appropriate recognition of guest services excellence, regardless of demographic characteristics, while establishing Monica's hospitality empire as industry leader in service standard enforcement and discrimination prevention. The transformation extended beyond individual hotel policies to influence broader conversations about institutional discrimination in the hospitality industry and the critical importance of comprehensive corporate oversight that ensured actual service standard implementation rather than mere policy development that failed to eliminate discriminatory practices. Hospitality organizations and hotel industry associations recognized the incident as a powerful example of how discrimination could persist despite comprehensive service standards, and used Monica's experience to develop enhanced accountability measures and monitoring systems that would ensure effective elimination of discriminatory practices through systematic oversight and franchise compliance enforcement. Monica's story became an inspiring example of how business expertise and corporate authority could create positive institutional change while demonstrating the ongoing importance of hospitality vigilance and comprehensive service standard enforcement that protected all guests from discriminatory treatment, regardless of their position within the hospitality industry. The lasting impact extended far beyond the Marriott system to influence how hospitality companies approached guest services excellence and employee accountability, with Monica's business framework becoming a model for effective discrimination prevention that ensured actual protection of guest rights through systematic monitoring and comprehensive hospitality accountability measures. But Monica's story is just one example of how business ownership meets hospitality discrimination. Next video. Watch what happens when a Black Michelin star chef's 25-year secret is revealed during airport restaurant discrimination. When staff question her culinary authority, the most shocking restaurant empire credentials in dining history emerge. You won't believe what happens when culinary excellence meets service bias. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and turn on notifications for new content. Don't forget to hit the like button if this story moved you, and share your thoughts and opinions about this situation in the comments below.